What's up, people? Do I have a new and fun tabletop roleplay game for you guys? Hello there, I'm the Dungeon Coach. If you don't know, I'm the creator of DC12, a full-blown tabletop roleplay game, but I wanted to come out with, and I've worked on and been playing with my own kids and or family members who've never played tabletop roleplay games before, a new TTRPG that solves a lot of problems when you're trying to play with new people. Introduce them to the hobby, which is a huge barrier, and I would recommend you usually don't show them the full game right off the bat. It's very intimidating. So just to get the concept of what it's like to tell stories with each other, whether it be with your own adult friends who haven't really played this before, or kids who don't have the full capacity yet, that you want to overwhelm them with a character sheet and a bunch of math and numbers and all this other stuff. All you need for this TTRPG is to be able to count to 12, which right now my 2.5-year-old can do, so he's playing this game already, and there's not really any big math involved. Now, it can as much or as little as you want, and as you get better, you can expand this game more and more. And this comes from the bones of DC20, the actual full-blown tabletop roleplay game. So this is called DC12. And this is the cover of the magazine of DC12. I'll talk about how you can get it. I'll link it down in the description and stuff like that. There's a whole PDF that explains all the little rule outlines, but I'm also going to share in this video what this game's about, how you play it, because you can literally explain it in 1 minute, absolutely. And then I'm going to do gameplay footage of you actually showing you footage of me playing with my 2- and 4-year-old this game, and the thoughts and the stories that you can tell are amazing. And speaking of my 2 kids, that's them on the cover. Here's Talon right here, the older one, and Carter, the younger one. He's got a little healing magic going on, and he's got the blue lightning, a bunch of stuff from their favorite things. Yes, that's kind of a Charizard and kind of a Slowpoke, their 2 favorite Pokemon, but you'll see them also in the video, because the story we tell in this DC12 TTRPG is a Pokemon themed story. You can change that to anything. We've told Sonic stories. We've told Blaze and the Monster Machine stories. With real life friends, like adult friends, we've done Hunger Games. We've done Mission Impossible, whatever sort of movie. You can literally change this to be whatever you want, because it's that flexible. So whatever new movie that my kids like or new show, we can play that right away, immediately. There's no sort of rule set. It's all the same. And with adults, whenever I've ever played before, I've bribed people to be able to play with me during my birthday. I asked them, what's your favorite thing? What's your favorite show? What's your favorite movie? What's going on? Someone said Hunger Games before. Cool. So then I made up a story of Hunger Games, and we played DC12 in that. Very, very simply. The dice were rolling. Everything was all up and going. So here's how this is going to work. I'm going to explain the gist of the game overall, and then I'm going to actually show that footage of actually playing live with my kids, and in 4 different little moments, 2 problem-solving things and 2 more combat-oriented things. So basically how it works is you roll a D12. That's the only thing you need, is a simple D12. You only need one. It's just a single D12. You roll it, and that's the number. And this might sound too simple, but that's kind of the idea. And again, there are more advanced things you can add to this, which if this video does well, I guess I could do another one like that, but I'm just trying to get you the gist here. So basically, if you say you want to do something in a tabletop roleplay game, that's one of the biggest concepts that you have to get across to people is, well, how do you play? Like, what do I do? You just say you do stuff. You say you do stuff, and we'll see what happens. And if you say you do something, and I want to ask you to make a check for it, I just ask you to roll. It's not a certain check or an athletics check or a persuasion check or any sort of, it's just you make a roll, and let's see what happens. On a 5 or higher, that's a success. There you go, success, 5 or higher, that works. But if you say something that's a bit more difficult or a bit more out there, a bit more wild, a bit harder to do, you want to raise the bar a little bit of how hard it is to do that thing, then you need a big success. And if a 5 is a normal success, I want you to just intuitively think of what would be a big success. A 10, a double digit for the kids to start to realize, oh, 10, 11, and 12 is a big success. So pretty much there's only 2 DCs that I ever use, 5 and 10. That's pretty much it. Sometimes if I want to get fancy, you can say, ooh, on a 7 or higher, it works. Or on a 6 or higher, it works. You can get as granular as you want to with that. But in general, a 5 or higher, and you're good. So all my little 2.5-year-old needs to be able to do to play this game is be able to identify numbers, I guess is one step, to be able to count up to 12 and be able to see what the number is, and then the vague understanding of the order of them or how big it is. But this game also kind of teaches that alongside it, because my first kid, when we first started playing this 2 years ago, he did not know what numbers were bigger than others, but this game literally helped him do that as well. So 5 or higher, success. 10 or higher, big success. Awesome. And if you want to go crazy on a natural 12 or a 12 out of 12 on the dice and have something crazy huge happen, of course I love doing that. And a natural 1, if you roll a 1 on the dice, something really bad happens, of course you can do that as well. And you just tell stories together. How does character creation work? It's as simple as, what's your character good at? And you just say something your character's good at. If they know how to move fire and they can cast fire spells and do things with fire, cool, that's what you can do. If you want to transform into animals, cool, that's what you can do. And they just make their character with one big cool thing they can do. Are they really fast and they just run around? Sure, awesome. Do you not want to have any magical powers at all and just do Hunger Games style, like I said? Yeah. And whenever I had there was 3 friends who had never played tabletop roleplay games before, I said, what are you guys good at? Their powers were talking with people, which then as a dungeon master made me think, okay, I need to insert some more social interactions into this game. And I'm really strong, really fast. And they had a very dynamic group where they could be able to do better in certain situations. And for a little sneak peek into the bit more advanced situation, if this character ever did social interactions, they added +5 to their roll. Oh my gosh. Or if you want to be a little bit, you can make them add a +2 if you don't want it to be so crazy. But I was trying to have things be crazy and really make them shine. So you can add little bits of granularity to, like, when you do certain things, you add to it. But in general, when I play with my 2 and 4-year-old, they don't add any numbers yet. We will eventually grow into that. Maybe their character sheet evolves, and when they do certain things, they get bonuses to certain other things. Absolutely. And there will be expansions to DC12 that I show and have the segmented parts of the game that get bigger and better and all that kind of stuff. But this is just the absolute basics. So the only other example I want to say now for how the rules work before I literally show you playing is, if you want to have something where there's a big task that you want to accomplish, you're trying to climb a mountain, you're trying to defeat a big monster, you're trying to solve a puzzle that's really tricky and work your way through a jungle or something, right? There is a success levels of how much successes you need. And very similar to DC20, if you're familiar with that, is in order to defeat this boss monster, it has 4 health. And in order to take 1 health off, what do you think you have to roll? A 5. On a regular success, you take 1 point of health off the monster. And on a 10, you take 2 health off the monster. Very, very simple. Little bits of addition and subtraction right there. You'll see my kids kind of pick up on that as well. But without all that out of the way, I'm now going to showcase us playing there's a little battle map I put down, and these are little Pokemon figures and stuff like that. You don't need to know anything about Pokemon here to do this. And here we go. Let's watch them play. I'll stop for some little bits of commentary, but this will be fun. Here we go. I love the ideas already. Okay, we travel through the forests and we get to a big clearing where there's a big rapids of water rushing super fast. Charizard's a little scared because he has a fire on his tail, but he just evolved. So what does he have now? He has wings now, you're right. And tell him, what were you saying? A little bit of a side note there. He had a Charmeleon figure before. So anytime we'd dealt with water, Charmeleon was always really afraid. But literally last session, he evolved to Charizard. So I was kind of caught off guard. I forgot that myself. Earlier about what your Pokemon were?
Water type.
Water types. Slowpoke's a water type. Which characters are better suited for which certain types of things? Lapras is a water type and Squirtle's a water type. That would be a really good idea. But how are we going to get across the river? We have Talon and Carter here too. Here's Carter's bead. Here's Talon's bead. Their favorite colors. How are we going to get across the river? What are we thinking?
Swim.
You just want to do a swim? My 2-year-old just said swim. He's working on swimming right now, so I also take this moment to be like, oh yeah, you're so good at swimming, let's go. He just wants to simply swim across. Absolutely. You can have crazy big ideas, or you can have very simple ideas. Ooh, Carter's really good at swimming. Carter's really good. We gotta roll first. You gotta roll first. Here. You ready to roll? 5 or higher. 4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Carter starts to swim across, but the waters are so fast. And Carter goes underwater for a second. Who's gonna save Carter? Talon, what are you gonna do? Slowpoke? Ooh, okay. Slowpoke they both wants to wanted
try
to
and
save
him. And Talon, what were you doing?
So right there, a little thing. You may have to deal with this with adults as well, but sometimes a lot of people have a bunch of different things they want to do, and there's not really a turn order. I don't want there to be some like 1 second. Like everyone's kind of doing stuff, and we all make our checks. Awesome, let's go. So Carter wants his own favorite Pokemon to come in and save him. Awesome, great. And then tell him, what do you want to do? And it also is at the table, whenever I play this with adults, they have ideas, they want to do stuff. So they start to say stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. It can be together, it can be at the same time. And I just want to make sure to include everybody.
The Quota gonna swim way fast than him gonna jump over the water.
So Carter's in trouble right here. And
Yeah,
Slowpoke
they said what they want to do.
Slowpoke is Carter's best friend. He's going to try and save him, and Squirrel's going to try and
talking
save
it
him.
out.
We need 5s or higher, boys. Talon, give me your roll first.
5 or higher.
8.
Oh.
That's a success right there. And Carter, give me your roll. Oh, a 10. That's
Whoa.
a big success. Squirrel, they got to team up and do it together. Squirrel jumps into the water. Slowpoke jumps in the water and saves Carter to the other side of the river.
And now they're all across the river. So you can make as big or as little moments of like how many successes you need whenever you want to. In this situation, they're getting them across. I didn't feel like it needed to be a really big moment of like how many you need for this certain situation. Maybe if it was a natural 1 and it was like a really bad situation, or they failed and then they failed again, I would have said like you need to get a certain amount of successes to be able to, you know what I'm saying? But they got it. Really, I just ultimately, usually in that situation, I want one of the two of them to succeed, and they save the person. Awesome. And sometimes if one succeeds and the other one fails, which you'll see here in a second, something bad can happen, a little bit of a setback, but a positive as well. Mix and match. Here we go.
Oh, deep breath. Good job. Who's going to go next? Talon, what Pokemon do you want to get across? Good job taking turns, Carter. Charizard? Is he going to fly over?
Yeah.
Now, Charizard can fly over, but maybe he can carry somebody. So make your roll. Get a 5 or higher.
This is a little bit of a general game master thing, but a lot of times, especially with kids or people who've never played tabletop roleplay games before, it's literally meant for both of them. Gentle reminders of extra stuff that you can do. Like, okay, cool, you could do this, but like, you know, it'd be very simple to fly across, right? In fact, as a game master, I probably wouldn't even make him ask for a roll. Charizard can just fly across, right? But he can also carry somebody and help the team, and you know, and use your abilities together and stuff like that. So here we go.
Let's see if Charizard can carry Pikachu.
And so.
Go for it. Uh-oh. It's a 2. Charizard's flying across, but then, Pikachu, he drops Pikachu. He's too small and slippery. Splash.
Talon trying to save him.
So Charizard flew across and he made it, but Pikachu's in trouble. He's in the water.
So anytime, whenever you roll in general, success, failure. If he rolled high, success. They all get across. Yay. On a failure, you can issue this out as a game master however you want. Usually I just have it be something bad happens, whether it be maybe Charizard falls into the water and then Pikachu lands on the ground just outside the water. Maybe, you know, there's lots of different ways you can go, but something bad happens. More problems arise that you have to solve. Simple as that.
But he's electric type, so the water's really electric. Who's going to try and save Pikachu? Bulbasaur, what's Bulbasaur going to use? His vines. Let's go. All right, Bulbasaur, use your vines. You gotta get a 5 or higher. Ooh, would Sylveon want to help too?
I'm gonna. If he gonna.
Oh, wants to teleport? Yeah. Ooh, give me a roll, Carter. Give me a 5 or higher.
Yeah, they're both rolling.
No, yeah, roll it. That's a cool way to roll it. A 6. That's a success. Sylveon, go for it. A 3. Uh-oh. All right, here's what happens. Sylveon, Bulbasaur wraps his vines around Pikachu and saves Pikachu. But to Sylveon, you said Sylveon was going to teleport. Sylveon teleports. Oh, but now Sylveon's in the water. Oh no! Sylveon teleported into the water, and now Sylveon's in trouble. How are we going to save Sylveon?
No,
Bulbasaur's going to go again. All right, let's see if Bulbasaur's already in the water. So go ahead and roll again for Bulbasaur. See what he's got.
So now, in general, a lot of times, especially with my kids, if I'm wanting to kind of push their imaginations, if they do the same thing, I say, well, we already did that. We got to do something else, right? Just to promote different types of gameplay. One thing that I did here is instead of Bulbasaur just standing there and just shuttling people over with vines, I described Bulbasaur swimming across to the side and getting across to kind of get Bulbasaur on the other side so they can start thinking about other types of ways to solve problems.
Go for it, Carter. 8! That's a success. Bulbasaur swimming across and floating with his little pod, grabs it with his vines, make the vine sound. And he gets all the way across. Whew.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Ekans is going to...
Now, this situation was crazy. I cut out the setup to this because I'll be able to describe it easier here, but they really were trying to figure out the way to get the last bit of their Pokemon across. Chansey is holding a Pokeball with Ekans inside of it. I thought it was a very creative idea because Ekans was scared to go across. Carter said that Ekans was scared. So Carter called the Ekans back into the Pokeball and had Chansey carried across. I thought that was actually a really cool idea. And so they're going across, but something bad happens. They rolled low and they fell into the water. So now Chansey and Electabuzz are in the water. Oh no, Lapras tried to swim them across, but it didn't work. Lapras got across, but the others didn't. Oh no. Talon said he wants to jump in and save the Electabuzz. So this little blue bead is going to jump in and save the yellow Pokemon. And then Chansey, Carter was very hard set on Ekans helping. And I was like, well, but Ekans is inside the Pokeball, but hey, this is a perfect example of when you need a big success. So in general, if they come up with ideas that are all cool, oh, that's a great idea. Oh my gosh, awesome. Yes. The DC is always 5. You just 5 or higher and you're good. But there's a really interesting teaching mechanism you can use as a game master for adults or kids of if you say a wild idea, that's something that's really hard to possible to happen, but all you need is a 10 or higher. It's definitely a less of a percent chance. You only have 3, a 10, 11, or 12 that works. But you absolutely can make it happen. And this is a good teaching opportunity to show maybe if you can think of things or have an idea that more logistically works better or something that's not so hard or whatever. This is a good teaching moment to be able to raise that standard they have to hit, that DC to a 10. And let's see what happens.
Crazy attempt. Ekans is inside the Pokeball that Chansey's holding. Ekans is going to burst out of the Pokeball and try and save Chansey. I see it, buddy. Let's go. You're going to need a 10 or higher, Carter. That's really hard to do, Carter. Here we go.
Or 12.
12, or 10, 11, or 12. 10 or higher, buddy. Here we go. Make a roll. Oh. Carter. That's a 10. Oh my gosh. And then Talon, make your roll to save Electabuzz. 8. A success. Talon's with a success, and Carter needed a big success, and he got it. Ekans bursts out of the Pokeball, wraps up Chansey, and swims across in a miracle to save the day. Wow. And then there's one more. Talon dives in. Charizard saved him?
Yeah.
You got a success. So it counts either way, buddy. I love it. You're changing the story up. I love it. Charizard flies in there, scoops up Electabuzz, and saves him. And all the Pokemon made it across safely. And you
nice. So that last little part there, Talon got a success, and he originally said he wanted to jump in and grab him and save him, and then he changed it last minute to, oh no, let's have Charizard come in and scoop it up. Awesome collaborative storytelling. Yes. Awesome, cool. Let's go. Retrospect watching it, I probably should have made a bigger deal whenever that 10 landed. There's a little bit of maybe that kind of looked like a 2 a little bit, but it rolled on the carpet. Who knows, right? But that's another topic for another video. But I probably should have made a bigger deal, and I usually do whenever you get that you need a big success, and you got a big success, right? But Talon had also said something, so then I said for him to roll. But either way, there's been so many cool moments from saying something crazy that's going to happen, and you need a big success, and then you even hear Talon go, "What?" Because that's a crazy idea. So then now that is the application that you can see for general puzzle solving, problem solving, trying to do things, get across from point A to point B. You can use that. You can play the entire game that way. But if you wanted to do something where it's a boss battle or some sort of big thing you need to do that you need to whittle down, and with multiple checks going towards the same thing, multiple people trying to do the same thing, this is a great way for how this works. And here's a little boss battle.
See something poking out in one of these holes. You see something poking out of this one. What are you guys going to go do?
Charizard's gonna check it out.
Charizard's gonna check it out? Okay,
Charizard.
Charizard.
Go on the grass so him not get hit.
Smart move.
Something coming out of the tunnel. He's smart.
Who you sending in to go check out?
Carter, go on the grass. It's so you're not getting hit in.
Ooh, do you want to do that, Carter?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bulbasaur's gonna be up here, and you guys are all so sneaky. You're off in the clearing, and coming through here. Who was going to hit whoever was right there, but that was a smart move. You see a Rhyhorn.
It's like a rhino Pokemon.
Oh, and now you can try and catch it. What are you guys going to do to try and catch it? It has 4 health right here. And as soon as you get all 4 of these gone, then you can try and catch it. What do you want to try and do?
Hey, him going,
Oh,
One thing he said before this that I accidentally cut out is he said, I'm going to attack it with fire. And then he stopped. He says, wait, fire's not good against rock, which is a separate Pokemon conversation. But then he said, and I was like, well, then how could you use Charizard in a different way besides fire? And then that was his idea. He's going to use Charizard to run around him in circles and try and make him dizzy. Super cool.
You want to make him dizzy? Oh, and what do you want to do,
That's
Carter?
his sound effect for vines.
Oh, you want to use his vines?
Yeah.
Oh,
Drag him around.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's see what happens.
They
Let's
got
see
the
what
plan.
happens. Once a success gets you one of them, and a big success gets you two of them. All right,
That's the only rules.
Roll. Carter, make your roll first.
Okay.
Rhino's starting to run. 8. That's a success. Carter gets a bead. Good job, buddy. And then Talon, make your roll. There we go. Oh no. A 1.
What does that mean?
Uh-oh. What does a 1 mean, buddy?
I want to save him.
Oh, yeah, Charizard.
He knows something bad happens. Now, in this situation, you can have, I could assign certain health to the different Pokemon, and each Pokemon has 1 or 2 health or something, and then they can like take damage if that's a natural one happens or something like that. But in general, how I've done it before is they get knocked down and they get hurt in some way. Now, you can make it as big or as little of a deal as you want, but in this case, Talon knew he needed to go save Charizard. Charizard was down for the count, and he needed to save him, right? You can, if these are characters and you don't have like a Pokemon style and like you're playing one single character, on a natural one you can take 1 damage, and then on the bad guy's turn, whenever like in this battle here, I just had both of my kids go boom, 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 and they're just eventually just whittling it down. They're just telling a story. If you want to make it more of a game and gamify it more as a true battle, you can give yourself a turn where they go and they have some sort of thing. They all make their checks and they use their stuff, and then you get a turn. I've done that before, even with them. And I'm like, he's going to attack the Charizard. He's going to charge at him. Boom. And I make a roll. And it's the same rules for me. On a 5, I take off 1 of the Charizard's hit points. And on a 10 or higher, I take off 2. And you can do the same thing. It works both ways. I just didn't want to introduce a lot of tracking at this point. And they're just telling a story. They're doing a bunch of cool stuff. They're problem solving. They're having fun. And I do not add that layer of health complexity for them at this point. The only health I have is for the bad guy, and they just take their turns back and forth and eventually whittle it down and tell a cool story.
It's gonna be in trouble. Okay, here we go. Watch. So here we go. He's charging in. Charizard starts to fly around in circles. Foo, foo. But then Charizard's wing hits the ground. He falls down, and Rhyhorn boom hits Charizard and hits the ground right here. But then Bulbasaur uses his vines and grabs onto Rhyhorn. He's holding on to him. Good job, Bulbasaur.
Now float him back into the cave.
Ooh.
Cool ideas.
Yeah, what are we going to do? Bulbasaur could do that, but what do you want to do, Talon? Do you want Charizard to try and get back up, or do you want to use a different Pokemon?
Another side note for a Game Master thing is, whether it's kids or adults, is you don't want other people to tell other people what to do and like make choices for them. I'll always say something like, that's a great idea, but what do you gotta think about what you want to do? Or do you want to do that, or do you want to do something else? So you always want to make sure to give agency to the actual person or character. In this case, it's Carter's Pokemon Bulbasaur. But yeah.
I want to try to save him. And
You want to try and save him?
And
Wow.
try to save him. No, I'm going to hop on him back and cover him eyes.
Whoa! You're gonna hop on his back and cover his eyes? All right, I
Crazy.
Love that. I love that. All right, you're gonna make a roll. And Carter, what are you gonna do?
Then have 1, 2, 3.
He has 3 left. You're right, Carter. What do you want to do?
Let him. No, cough.
You want
There's a
to
switch of
go in there and
Pokemon.
spray
Cool.
some gas on him? Okay, I see it, Carter. I love that. Oh, nice. All right, Carter, make your roll, and then Talon's gonna make his really brave roll. An 11. That's a big success. 2 of these go. Now, Talon, if
You can choose to hand out these beads, or sometimes I've just taken them away. When I first started doing this, I was handing them out, and they were like getting upset who had more beads than the other, and I didn't like it. We had some conversations, but it is a good learning tool for kids as well to talk about how things go. Sometimes you'll have more, sometimes you'll have more, but you're a team. So I do like handing it out to teach them team moments, but you can also just like take them away, just away from the board.
you can get a 5 or higher, you guys win. Here we go.
And that's
5 or higher. There's only 1 left. You need a 5 or higher. Go for it. Whoa! Keep it on the board. 8! Yes, buddy. So coughing comes in. Watch. Carter, make the coughing sound. And Rhyhorn can't see. And then Talon, what do?
get back up.
Charizard is able to get back up because Talon jumps on top of Rhyhorn and covers his eyes, and Rhyhorn hits into the wall over here and falls down.
Into
Now
the cave.
we can, and he falls back into the cave. Here we go. I love that.
So that is a top-end gameplay example of this game being played. So many cool things that you can do with this. It's very easy to set up the prep for it because you just set up story points. You just even making the Hunger Games one shot that I ran for them. I just thought of cool things for them to have, and they went and they advanced through it. There were other people that were trying to fight them. If they did fight them, you see how different ways you could do it. They make checks, and they're probably going to succeed because you just need a 5 or higher. You can do the math on that. It's a pretty easy chance there. And in general, it's about 65% chance of success is a good spot, and that's where DC20 is kind of built and balanced around. This is, I think, about a 66% chance. I don't want to get into the math of it, but you have a very good chance to get a 5 or higher, right? And then a 10 or higher, it's a bit harder, but it's possible, right? So even for the Hunger Games, there's something crazy happened where a Tyrannosaurus Rex came out of it and had to run away from it. What are you guys doing? And they can just say whatever they want. The fast person can go really fast. The smart person can throw down. Like, they can just use and do whatever they want to do in really cool ways. And it is as rules light as possible. And it takes care of so many cool things to be able to let you set you up to tell really cool stories with your friends or kids, whatever. So this is DC20 magazine. Every single month on Patreon, I release a DC20 magazine, and it's there on Patreon for a month. And then after the next month, I put it up on the website. So depending on when you're watching this, if you want to pick this up right now, link down in the description to Patreon, and you join Patreon, you get this month and the previous month for free. And it's the whole magazine. It's super simple. It's super compact. I think it's about 7 pages in total of just kind of what I've talked about, and then a bit more examples, and there's a bit more advanced stuff about how health can work, leveling up, character, just different things that kind of help and facilitate that. Or you can take what I've said from this video and take it, run with it, make it your own, and go with it from there. I do plan on, depending on how much interest there is in DC12, I do plan on adding more types of things about how, okay, cool, and the game's going to naturally evolve as my kids get older as well, where, okay, you want more? All right, cool. Let's choose some character attributes. Let's choose some stats. And if you do this, you get a +2. If you do that, you get a +5. Cool. And then they can add to their rolls or subtract and other things like that. There's also advantage and disadvantage where you can roll 2 dice and take the higher. There's lots of different types of things like that to be able to level up the complexity of the game as much as your group or kids can handle. So anyway, I hope this is cool. I hope you can tell some awesome stories with it, and this has been a great introduction tool of showing a group of friends of mine who've never played tabletop roleplay games and my kids, hey, this is what TTRPGs are all about, and eventually get them into DC20. That's the plan. But until next time, stay creative. Think outside the box. Peace.